It's been a while that we wanted to explore new eras. We needed to establish like modern days, what this look and feel inside Dead by Daylight. But now we're ripe.
I wanted to push it a little bit further in history of civilization to the Mesopotamian religion, mythology, something that we could easily make our own.
Demise of the Faithful is about what's divine and sickness. We wanted to go much further in the past to establish that the entity can take people from anywhere and anytime. It tells the story of a priestess that worship and has a very strong devotion for her gods, but that in the end will die of the plague.
Plague was quite a difficult one to pull off. This is the awesome work in progress for the artwork. I think it looks gorgeous.
Of course, you have something that you can see from the get-go, which is the contrast between youth, beauty, and disease. For me, it was important to always create a contrast within her backstory, which was the duality of fear and faith.
She's a very strong, imposing person. She's pretty tall. We went with a look that is really rich and ceremonial. We wanted her to look old and affected by the sickness, but then we needed to show that she was young once. So her eye is really the center focus of her face. The stare she's giving, it's the last kind of living part of her body. The fact that she has like a lot of backstory and so many details in her costume makes it really shine.
I had a meeting with Dave, who already had a clear notion of what he wanted in terms of killer.
We've had characters who have attacked at range, who have thrown things, but we haven't had anyone who attacked someone with a stream of vomit before. The biggest challenge was probably modeling this vomit stream. How do we make this an object in the game that feels like it has weight and that it behaves sort of how you would expect it to without melting anybody's computer?
You saw that I sent a survey about your feeling about the vomit.
We actually, considered, do we want to go all in with that effect? And yes, we decided to push the thing to make sure that the vomit is disgusting and is part of our horror game.
We wanted to create a parallel with how faith spreads, but also how diseases spread.
Am I getting more sick now? Because I'm sitting with you?
We thought that it would be cool as a power to be able to infect a survivor, and then that survivor would bring that sickness to others. There's a group effect. When you encounter a survivor that has this sickness, you don't necessarily want to help him right away because there's going to be a cost to that. You will have the sickness yourself. So this dynamic between the survivor, which make the group weaker, is really interesting.
For the weapon, we wanted to go with a ceremonial weapon, like a censer. She's using it to hit people, but also like the censer in the temple to hide the smell of her sickness.
So the censer, used as a blunt object, like a morning star almost, was really, really interesting and new.
Not only is this a really cool time period to explore, with even down to the different kinds of textures that you're going to see in the environment with the stone and the gold, but it also opens up all kinds of possibilities. If Dead by Daylight can go here, think about where else we can go in the future.
It's always the entity that decides where shapes are going, so there's a base that is pretty solid. That's the part that was really the temple, and then the entity just pushed it a bit higher, and the concept, we really want this tall shape. And there's shapes that was working, but we felt that it was too straight, like a man-made building. We decided to go with shape B because you have the mix of both the building that man created and the one that the entity just kind of sculpted in his own way. This is the main entrance of the temple, and we really wanted to show the verticality and the chaos. As you go in the temple, you can see that there's more and more richness. Walls, trims made of gold. And as you walk through the temple, you can see that there's her rooms where she was doing her ceremonial act. Also, there's a room where you see the coffin.
For me, it was important to make this feel as real as possible. I wanted to do a lot of research as to those ancient languages. It's something that you can see still in the trailer and on a few cosmetics as well. You can see how this language was based on something very real that we made our own.
Dead by Daylight is a game that has captured the hearts and minds of people across the world, and I think a lot of that has to do not only with the heart-pounding moments, the tense moments, but also the characters. People really connect to these characters. Like, we're going back further than we have ever gone. People are going to try to figure out, what does this all mean? Where else can we go from here?
Every chapter we create, we open a new part of the universe, creating these new characters that are really interesting, and seeing that the community grows and love each and single character that we do. Seeing the community get their hands on these characters and create all this fan art and stories around the character we created is super exciting.
Like and share if you enjoy the video and think others might benefit from this, and of course subscribe and hit the notification button if you are new to the channel and want to be notified every time we post a video.